Our inflation jumped last month to 3.3%. In fact, it jumped by 10% as the Iran war pushed up the price of fuel at the fastest pace in 3 years. Meanwhile, taxpayers have forked out a whopping £3,000 for this oil painting of Rachel Reeves in the Parliamentary Art Collection. Now, we all knew that Rachel Reeves was no oil painting, but now she is. Anyway, let's now speak with the political commentator and the statistician, Jamie Jenkins. Jamie, welcome to the show. More bad news for the Chancellor. Once again, inflation, this time soaring, being driven, of course, by soaring transportation costs.
Yeah, good afternoon, Martin. So I suppose the first point to start really is in terms of the inflation figures that the Chancellor will obviously blame Donald Trump, will blame the Iran war, but we've got to remember that when Labour came into power, the inflation was running around 2%, which is in line with the Bank of England's target, and that was the figure just before they won the general election. So the last month's figure, which doesn't have an impact of the Iran war, and there was 3%, so it was 1% above what they inherited, and that is a big impact. So we have seen this increase to 3.3%. Most of that increase is down to transport costs, so that's two parts, Martin. It's the fuel you put into your tank when you go into the petrol pumps, which everybody and we've discussed know about. Airfares are also going up because of aviation fuel, so those things are feeding through. But I'm expecting it to continue to go up a little bit next month, Martin, because we haven't seen the full effect of the fuel increases in these figures. And remember, we've seen some big hikes in the national minimum wage or living wage, whichever term you want to use. That'll come in April just now. So when we get the next month's figures, businesses will have to start passing those costs on as well.
They're blaming Donald Trump. They're blaming the Iran war. It's always somebody else's fault or something else's fault. Brexit, COVID, Vladimir Putin, Liz Truss, a passing comet. Perhaps the Labour Party could actually take some responsibility themselves. They've been in power for 2 years now, mate.
Yeah, and the Chancellor could have done some things about this. So basically, when the prices of fuel go up, we know quite, that the fact that a lot of that is tax. So we could have had a temporary cut in the fuel duty. They've been getting extra money in through the VAT as the fuel prices are going up. So if the Chancellor had made some cuts there, what that would have done, it would have lowered inflation. And why is inflation important? Well, there's other factors that you need to consider, Martin. So when inflation's high, that means that the borrowing costs go up because many of our borrowing costs is linked to index-linked gilts, which basically means when inflation goes up, you get more in terms of what you owed on your borrowing. And depending on how long this inflation's kind of sticky in the economy, if you're on benefits or the state pension with a triple lock, you will get higher benefit payments because they're linked to things as well. And thing to call out as well, Martin, is food inflation's going up as well, because just remember, when you get fuel prices going up, that means haulage costs go up. When your delivery drivers come to you, their costs are going up. So it all transpires into the whole economy. And we're still going to see the energy costs go up in a few months' time. So all I'm talking about is up, Martin. It's pretty much doom and gloom. And with the energy costs, if we'd had a rational energy policy over the last 10 or 15 years and not relying so much on imports, we'd be less exposed to that, which is why the IMF have downgraded the UK economy forecasts.
OK, Jamie Jenkins, superb as ever. Always a pleasure, never a chore. And get onto your Substack, Stat of the Nation. It's a cracker. Jamie Jenkins, thank you very much. Always a pleasure.